Episode 7 just came out, and as always, it's a great time to be a From fan. There are 3 episodes left, and after this week's episode 7, titled These Fragile Lives, there were a lot of reveals. What's going on with Fatima? Where or what's inside of her? Is Elgin possessed? What is the kimono woman showing him? Randal sees his true self for the first time. Now his outside matches his inside, and both are ugly. Are Jade and Tabitha getting closer? Is there romance? Or are they just a reincarnation of Christopher and Miranda? And to everyone who thought Tilly was behind it all, including myself, we got a big surprise. So, okay, From fans, let's get right into it. Big spoiler alert. Tilly gets shanked, or sheared, as I should say. For some reason, Tilly was following Fatima around, and her storyline this season was pretending to be a shoulder for Fatima to cry on. We see her in the past episodes trying to do things like read Fatima's tarot, then bringing her tea, and then trying to give her advice about her prenatal diet. Then, boom, back up. You too close, man. Now, did Fatima really kill Tilly, or was it the thing that she says is inside of her? Now, Fatima says that the cravings are getting stronger and she's angry all the time. So, could she claim self-defense or claim insane if they bring her to the trial in front of her from peers? Which I absolutely think is going to happen, because we don't see what's next. They kind of end the episode there. I don't believe she ate the body, because it would take too long. I don't believe she drugged Tilly off or anything like that. So Tilly said, run. You're going to have to run after she did that. So I believe that eventually Tilly's body will be found. It just depends on how far from the scene of the crime does Fatima want to be. Looks like we'll find that out the next episode. Now, I do believe something is happening to Fatima, and I believe they had a good point that not too long ago, Boyd had worms inside of him that no one could see. So is something in Fatima that's controlling her, or is she turning into what I think is a Wendigo? Now, please go check out my past video on that if you guys want more detail on that story. Now, when the regular episode starts, it picks up where episode 5 left off, where we see there is nothing inside Fatima's stomach, and she is confirmed not to be pregnant. Now, Mari and Christy diagnosed this as a psychosomatic pregnancy, which means Fatima thinks she's pregnant and she has physical signs that she's pregnant, meaning positive tests, cravings, etc. But in reality, she is not pregnant. Now, she has this scene where something crazy starts happening with her stomach, and it looks like the chestburster scene from Aliens, but in reality, it's not. It's nothing. It's just a dream. And, Fatima does say the cravings are getting stronger and she's angry all the time. So we see that something's happening with her body. Now, Ellis panics and runs to the clinic and steals some medicine, but then gets approached by Christy and Boyd. And we actually get to see what the medicine is before he gives it back. And it's something called palpidrone. Now, palpidrone is used to treat symptoms of psychotic mental disorders, including schizophrenia. Now, this is the second time we've heard drugs come into play on the show. Well, actually, the third time if we include Julie hitting the joint behind the house. But we hear that in the flashback with Tabitha and Henry says that Miranda took some acid. And now we fast forward to this, where we find out that this type of drugs are in the show. So it could be something that other people have. Everybody could be a schizophrenic at the end of this. We don't know. Now, Christy advises that Ellis do not give that medicine to Fatima. And looking it up, it says that it should be used alone. It should not be used with other medicines. And it's used to treat people with the schizophrenia. And that if you do use it in older adults, you can have other behavioral problems. and it should, or this medicine should not be used to treat behavioral problems. So I'm guessing that Christy meant by saying those pills can make things a lot worse in Fatima, meaning if she's already seeing and forgetting things, then she would be worse. Now, the way this medication works is it rebalances the dopamine and serotonin to improve thinking, mood, and behavior, pretty much making the person seem normal again. Now, of course, Ellis' intentions were genuine by taking this medicine and trying to help her and get her some sort of sense of reality so she could come to grips with that she wasn't pregnant. But I think that just as important as the medication would be, it's also important for Ellis to believe her and stand by her no matter how crazy it looks, because that's all she really wants. So what do you guys think about the Fatima situation? Do you think that it was her own thoughts that led her to kill Tilly? Do you think that something is really going through her? She turning into a creature, she becoming a Wendigo? We really want to know. Now, I kind of put these scenes together, but Elgin is obviously up to something, and I believe that the Elgin and Fatima storyline is connected. I believe that he's either what I think is possessed, and I do believe that Elgin may have come to Fromville with this kimono curse or whatever it is, because it seems the kimono creature does not match the regular night creatures that haunt this village and haunt the residents. Now, this is the first entity inside the house that we've seen. Every other entity has either been outside or we've seen them at night. But now we see this, and we really only see it around Elgin. And until someone else sees it, we can only believe it's in Elgin's mind. Now, we see the camera that Elgin has that he found in the basement start randomly flicking pics, and it's a picture of the root cellar door. Now, we've seen the root cellar before in tons of scenes with flashbacks with Jade, where he went in the root cellar and he found the rock guy. Now, we don't know if that was a real scene or what was happening there, but we did see that before. And so we pretty much know what's in the root cellar, or do we? Now we see Elgin down in the basement, and he comes to that same dresser where Julie popped out of when she entered the faraway tree outside the colony house. So we know that the root cellar, if we had to, make a map of locations with strong energy, we know the root cellar has a lot of power and a lot of, I guess you could say, magic going on in there. So we know that there's other things that happen there. So he pushes the dresser to the side, and we find out there's a door behind the door, right? That leads to another door probably. And he opens it, and looks like that once upon a time somebody was living there or hiding there. And then we find that out exactly. He looks around, and he finds under a blanket a body, and it looked like possibly from someone that stayed down there too long or was waiting for someone to let him out. But since everybody else died, he wasn't able to properly get out. So it looks like they died down there. But who was it? So was this Christopher? But the clothes did look different because Christopher had on a sweater. Now, is this somehow future Jade? Now, I know it might sound crazy, but we know that time travel plays a role on this show. And this could be an alternate timeline Jade or future Jade. Now, this is possible because, like I said, we know that the root cellar is a portal, and there have been tons of weird things seen down there. So it could be something like that. But it didn't look like the rock guy's actual body, but definitely somebody else. And also the shirt of the person kind of matched Jade's shirt from season 1. So let me know what you guys think. But we see the kimono lady down there in the root cellar, and we get a shot, and we hear Elgin say something, and it sounds like he says, "Is this where it takes place?" So either where something took place in the past or where something will take place in the future. So we have to wait and see what happens next episode, because we don't know. Now, like I said, my guess is that since Elgin had the picture of Fatima, where the kimono woman appeared either next to her or behind her, we are going to see Elgin somehow lead Fatima away and trap her in the root cellar, where she fully transforms into a creature. So that's kind of what I think. Next, we get some Boyd and Donna action. Now, next thing I noticed on this episode is that, what is up with Donna bringing up Abby's name? Right? I mean, like, just Donna is taking 100% of the shots this episode by throwing in jabs and what I would call flags on the play and unnecessary roughness. I felt like it is totally unnecessary for her to keep bringing up Abby in that way. She don't even really know Abby, and could have kept that comment to herself. This is obviously a sore spot for Boyd, and she could have just left it with, what's up with Fatima, and not bring up Boyd's dead wife. Like, I think that when you think of what the overall theme of this season, which is to try to break Boyd, we're starting to see a lot of people come at Boyd kind of, conflict with him. But we're also seeing, Christy kind of getting on him a little bit. We're seeing Costa getting on him a little bit. And then here we're seeing Donna, who's supposed to be his equal through respect and work and running these towns. She's kind of kicking him while he's down. So that they're kind of breaking him in his personal life now. And then also, why would Donna kick out Ellis and Fatima, especially when she's supposed to love Fatima so much? I guess, we'll just have to see. And I think in the coming episodes, we're going to find out some stuff about Donna, about how she might, like we've been saying, is really not for the team and she possibly a mole. Now, there's also a growing subplot as far as what is banging outside the cabins in the Lost Village. Now, this is a growing subplot on the show, and we first heard it back in episode 1 when Jim and Kenny were there, and then again in this episode when the woman who's listed as Colony House Resident 1 says whatever was banging around last night was not the regular things back in town. So I guess maybe it sounded larger, maybe it was breathing differently, or it didn't sound, just different from what they know back in town. And then Jim says, whatever it was, he'll be glad when this place is in the rear. So it seems like a creature, some sort of creature, but we don't know. But I would like to find out, and I would like them to maybe show something like a shadow, or at least like trees moving in a distance, like kind of, something so we can get a idea of what's going on. But we're really just getting a lot of talk, a lot of hearsay, she say at this place, so we don't know. And then right after we get that comment, Tabitha and her new family comes walking out the woods. Jade brings Tabitha to the Lost Village, where they find Jim and his, I guess, aggressive side chick over there sorting the vegetables. And Jim gets upset, as he should, because Jade is pretty much doing more for Tabitha than Jim could their entire marriage. Because remember, them leaving was pretty much their last trip as a family because they're about to separate. Now, Jade tells Tabitha it's a good idea for Tabitha to go there to see the red rocks because she let him know that she saw them in a dream as a child. And I don't think she told Jim that. Now, so when they get to the rocks, Ethan asks if these are the same ones from your dream. And Tabitha says, yes, everything's the same, and begins to explain what she saw. Now, she says she still remembers the fear when she was running. She said she started from the right and then ran and hid, and whatever was making everyone scream was on the other side of the rock. But when she looks up, she wakes up every time. So apparently she had this dream multiple times. Now, the big takeaway from here is that her and Miranda both saw this place before they came to Fromville. Now, Jade then says maybe Aristotle got it wrong about free will and determinism. He then says Miranda said she was chosen. And if that's the proof, then basically Tabitha and everyone else there never had a chance. They were always going to end up here no matter what, meaning they were destined to come to this place since children, and they will always end up at the tree in the road. Now, that's a big revelation. So now we kind of know that there's someone or something picking people to come here, and that it's not just happenstance. Now, in addition to the predestination, a few takeaways I would say is from this is what Tabitha saw in the woods by the Lost Village, right? Like, what did she see? And what do the rocks mean? And why are they red? So those are the key points that we're trying to figure out from this. And hopefully they give us some answers soon. Then we get some Victor action, and this is what I was pretty much trying to find out last week was how did Victor think he was going to make Jasper talk? I mean, it's a doll, right? It's a doll, right? We've seen it move in different locations and we've seen his head turn, but those have only been visions and hasn't been in reality. Now, in the flashback last week, we saw that when Victor was trying to tell a story of what he needed to do next, he saw Jasper talking to Christopher, but I figured it really wasn't Jasper talking to Christopher, but really Christopher having a two-person conversation with himself where he was asking and responding to whatever was being said, which was in his head. So how could Victor hear it? But Victor somehow heard the conversation, and from what we learned, went to go tell his mom, Miranda, and that's how she knew about saving the children, which we know is or was her mission that she was chosen for. So she had to leave Eloise and Victor to complete her mission. It was pretty much what she had to do. Now, we know that Victor says his sister told him that that's where his mom went, but now I believe we can say his sister didn't tell him that, right? Given the impression that after him being in a root cellar, he saw his sister again, but he didn't. Victor was the one that directly told Miranda, and that he knew where she went all along because he told her. Now, this sleight of details led everyone to believe that Eloise was alive and possibly Tabitha, but now we can say that Miranda and Eloise are dead, even though we didn't see Eloise's body and that Tabitha is not Eloise. Of course, I did believe this, but this is new information. I think this changes a lot of that details. I do believe that Eloise could be alive and could be someone else on the show, and if she was, she would be Donna, but we don't know. But of course, if you guys want more from news or want to review the episode more, please join my live. I go live every Sunday after the premiere of the episode on the MGM app. So I'll be live and we'll be doing From Trivia. So please like and subscribe to my page. Click the notification bell to see when we go live, and I'll talk to you and see you on the next video.